Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Reavyne and welcome back to my channel. Now last night there was another Warriors Den live stream, and this was a big one because we got the state of balance for last season. And this is always a big thing because it gives us a look into the data that the devs are receiving, and the devs have said in the past, and they said it again this Warriors Den, that they look at all their data points that they have, and then they look at, you know, what everyone's saying on social media, on YouTube, you know, Reddit, all those sort of places. And then they try and mix the two together and come up with what they're going to do in terms of balance. But before we get into all the balance talk, because I think the devs are in a bit of a freaking hard place right now, and I want to talk about it, so I am going to talk about it as we go over all the, you know, win-loss matrix that they have. But first, let's get into the news because there is some news. So up first is the content of the week, and this thing is called the Theft of Fire, and it is an effect. This is going to cost you 5k steel, and it's actually pretty cool. Okay, so it's going on the idle, executions, emotes, that sort of stuff, but it's sort of like a bonfire. I think I've seen the effect before. It looks familiar, but I sort of like it when it's sort of just like radiating off the person. It looks kind of cool, but it's up to you to decide whether it's worth 5k steel or not. Next up is the fact there's going to be an extra XP fest. So that means double the XP on all matches and orders. Make sure you save your contract orders. If you're going to hand them in, save them, because tomorrow on May 10th, so that's like here in Australia, it's like today, you can hand them all in, you'll get double XP, and that goes till the 13th of May. So pretty much they do this every now and then for the weekend. They'll have this going, so you can go forward, smash out some games, smash out everything. You get double XP. It's a good time to rep someone up if you want to rep someone up. You know, Sakura, considering she's live right now for everyone else. So if you got the season pass, you got her a week ago, now everyone can buy her for 15k steel. And if you're new to the game or you don't exactly know how she plays, I have a full basic to advanced guide / tutorial on my channel. You can check it out. It'll help you guys a lot in terms of knowing what the fuck to do with her, and, you know, working out how she plays and the max punishes and all those sort of cool things you need to know in order to do well in the game. So feel free to check that out and have fun being creepy. Her voice is so goddamn good. Next up is a new event order. This is the Ranked Vanquisher. So be the faction with the most wins in Ranked, and this thing will go from the 10th of May to the 13th of May once again over the course of the weekend, and you'll get XP boost rewards, you know, depending on where you come, so on and so forth. Next up, they acknowledge the fact that the dynamic reward system is fucked right now. So effectively what it's doing, it's not giving rewards properly, like XP and steel and certain things, and they know there's an issue with it. They know it's messed up. They're trying to gather as much data as they can before they fix it, because obviously they don't want to, like, you know, just do a rush job on it and screw it up, because then they're going to cop even more backlash, which is fair, and they want the job to be done properly the first time rather than having to keep trying to fix their own mistakes. So expect the fix for this thing soon, but until then we have to deal with what we got to deal with. Next up, there is an Xbox One sound bug to do with headphones, and this is an Xbox One only thing apparently, so I'm just going to read this out. They found a fix which they'll be deploying soon. Obviously they'll get it out when they can, but in the meantime, the way to fix this thing, apparently when you have headphones in and you start the game, as soon as the game starts there's no sound. So the way to fix this, and it's a very weird workaround, is unplug your headset, okay, and then plug it in after the game has launched. So start with it unplugged, and then after the game's launched, then you can plug it in, and that should fix it, apparently. Hope that helps. And now we get into the state of balance. Okay, now we're gonna go over these, and then I'm gonna go into a bit of a Ravens ramble here, because we need to talk about the situation that the devs are in and what I'm seeing lately, especially over, you know, the course of the last few of these that they've done. So first of all, let's look at the dual win rates. And this is full population, so every single person who's rep 1 and above counts in this statistic. And I'm going to put this up on screen. Up first at the very top, so the guy who's doing the best right now with the highest overall win rate is Shigoki. Then you have Jiangjun, which is no surprise. Kensei, little surprising. Blackbriar, not surprised. And then, you know, Orochi. It's across everything, full population, so I'm assuming Orochi's up there because light spam. That's pretty much all he has, because he doesn't have an opener, so it has to be light spam and lots of feints and stuff. Then we have Warlord, Valkyrie, and it goes on from there. Now, if you look down the very bottom, Highlander and Peacekeeper and Conqueror are all down there. That's really fucking, that's bad, right? Highlander, I'm a little bit surprised at. Normally I've seen Highlanders do really well in 1v1s, but you know, especially compared to some of the other guys that are higher. But then when we switch over to the dual win-loss matrix, but for platinum rank and above, things change, and they change, you know, quite drastically. If you look here, all the Wu Lin are now freaking up towards the top, whereas before, only Jiangjun was, and then they were all below the bottom, like, you know, below the middle. Of course, Shigoki's still up there. He just dropped one spot. You have Blackbriar up there. Of course, you know, Blackbriar launched this season from where this data's from, so he's going to be fucking everywhere, and Blackbriar's really good. But then if you look down the bottom, you have Centurion, rip my boy, You have Gladiator, Nabushi, and of course Highlander. They're all still down there. Warden's down there, a little bit weird, but I guess that's because all of his, his bashes and everything for the platinum and like above rank guys, they're able to predict that shit. But surprisingly, Aramusha he sticks around the middle. That's one thing I found funny. And for anyone who's going to be like, what about Raider and stuff? Because Raider's fucked right now, and I will do a video talking about that. This is before Raider got his rework, so, he's not stunning tapping everything to high heaven. But those are the dual ones. Now if we go down here, we're going to have a look at Dominion. We're going to look over here at the hero win rate, okay? So on the left is overall, and then on the right is top 4% of this little bracket here, okay? So overall, Jiangjun is there, Aramusha is there, okay? In Dominion, fair enough, okay? If you're going to take everyone and put everyone into the pool, you're going to have a bunch of people who are low rep. They're not going to know how to deal with this. Once again, light spam is a thing. Aramusha has a bunch of soft feints, and they're going to get blended, okay? He's really good at blending plebs. Then you have Kensei there as well. Once again, a little bit weird. Kensei is good. He's pretty fucking solid, but I wouldn't expect him to be higher there than Black Prior, who's down near the middle. And of course, all of the Wu Lin, which except for Jiangjun, which are also down there. It's a bit weird. But if you look at the top 4%, Aramusha's first. The fuck happened there? Like, when did that, what? They're supposed to be like the top 4%, so they're supposed to be really good at this shit, right? Theoretically, they're supposed to be good at blocking fast lights, they're supposed to be good at knowing soft feints and all that sort of stuff, predicting it. And yet he's up the top. That's a little weird. I expect it in the Blender Fest that is the overall in Dominion, but not in the top 4%. And Kensei stays up there as well, which is also, once again, it's kind of weird, especially because the Wu Lin Tiandi's down there. What? And then of course when we go down here to Breach, once again, overall, you got Jiangjun, Kensei, Aramusha, they're all still up there again, and it doesn't really change that much, except in the top 4%. Nuxia goes flying up the top, but I'm assuming that's because of Caltrops, and the devs sort of said that as well. She's got a few really good feats in that regard. And Gladiator, he keeps getting fucked in both of them. He's right down the bottom. But, I love Gladiator. They need to fix the guy. And it's mainly because of his guard. They said that assassins have a really hard time, especially in Breach, because of the fucking Manions with the goddamn spears, and they're assholes, and they basically screw over assassins because they have the reflex guard, and they can't really stop them. So that's a pain in the ass. But that is the win-loss matrix that they have so far for last season. But next up, we're going to talk about the community-created tier list. Now, these is basically what the top guys in the community, all the pro players and everything, this is what they say is viable, okay? So, in Dominion, up top, S tier, which is mandatory, you have Jiangjun, Nabushi, Shinobi, okay? But if you look at Dominion, where's Nabushi? Nabushi is all the way down near the bottom, okay? So, according to the players, Nabushi is literally mandatory, right? And Shinobi is too. But if you look at what the actual data says, once again, Nabushi and Shinobi in Dominion are right down the bottom overall. And then if you look at the top 4%, Nabushi goes right up to the top. So obviously people who are, I don't know how that is such a great jump there. And Shinobi is around the middle of the pack. Still not good enough to be completely mandatory, but that's what the community seems to think. Then you have Berserker, Shaman, Black Prior, Shaolin, Raider. Fair enough, they're all pretty good. Raider's a little bit of a weird one there. Now, he would definitely be up there. And then it goes on from there. Aramusha, though, is down here in D tier. Yet, of course, according to the data, in both overall and top 4%, he's fucking the blending god. Yet, according to the community, the pros, he's supposed to be not even viable. Once again, this is going to lead into my point. And then you look for Jewel, once again, Black Prior, Warden, Berserker, Conqueror. They're right up the top and mandatory. But if you look at Jewels, they're all below or, hanging around the middle. Same with the Platinum and above. They're a little bit higher, but they're not exactly right up the top. Yet according to the community, once again, they are, mandatory, all that sort of stuff. So, with that said, we're going to get into the important thing that needs to be talked about here. And I've said this before in the past, but the devs are starting to acknowledge it in terms of what they're talking about. And that is the fact that the developers cannot balance the game. Not because they're bad, not because they're incompetent, none of that, right? They have the ability to do it. But the problem that the developers are facing, they've said themselves, and they said it again this stream, they want to make the defensive meta go away, okay? They want everything to be more offensive, and they want things to be more like the new Raider and like, you know, Sakura, Black Prior, stuff like that, right? They want the people to attack. So Black Priors and Berserkers apparently are really cool because they're constantly attacking each other, trading blows, trying to fuck each other up. They want it to be a thing where you're constantly attacking each other. It's tit for tat. It's an actual fight, not so much of a staring contest or not so much as someone just abusing the same move over and over again. That's what they're aiming to do. More offense, less like, you know, stupid defense, like just rolling away, running away, unlocking, all the stupid stuff, right? And they want everyone to be playing sort of like that. From the top to the newest guy, they want them to be able to play the characters genuinely the same way. Right now, the top guys, and why their list is so completely different to what the data says, because the data takes into account everyone. Most players aren't going to try and eke out the most dumbest shit possible, or the littlest thing possible just to fucking get like the slightest bee's dick worth of advantage over the other guy. The pro players are going to do that. Most people, they're not going to do that. They're here to have fun. So the pro players will go ahead and abuse the fuck out of certain characters and certain things, right? And the regular players will just play the characters how they're pretty much intended. So the developers want to try and get it so they both end up playing it the same way, whether you're pro or you're a regular guy or girl. So the developers actually know what they need to do. They know they need to make the game more offensive, make it cooler to play, you know, faster pace, all that sort of stuff, less time to kill so it doesn't get boring, less defensive, less bullshit that the pro players do. They know they need to do that, but they will never get it done because they still will not pick a direction that they want to go. They say they want to, you know, they want to balance it for the pro players. They need to take them into account and balance for the, like, you know, the top 4%, 5%, 1%, whatever they want to say, right? They need to balance for those guys. Then they say they want to balance for the middle. Then they say they want to balance for, like, you know, the bottom. You cannot do it. It is impossible. You cannot please everyone. But they're trying to, and they're not willing to pull the trigger on anything, right? They're trying to bring everyone so everyone plays the characters exactly the same, which is not going to happen. It just can't happen. Because the pro guys, once again, like I said, will do anything to eke out the slightest edge over the other guy. They'll abuse any mechanic to high heaven. They'll find anything they can do to be that much better. Everyone else isn't going to give a fuck. They're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Screw that, right? I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I'm not here to do that shit. I'm here to cave some skulls in and enjoy myself. So if the developers want to try and make us all play sort of the same by trying and balance everything so we're sort of the same, we're in two completely different fucking universes here. It will never happen. I'll never play like them. They'll never play like me. And unless the developers pick who they want to balance the game for, they're never going to get anywhere. It's always going to be half measured trying to please everyone. And when you try and please everyone, you don't please anyone. Or you please everyone, sorta, okay? Not fully there, and then everyone's sort of shitty, but, you know, they get everything, something they like every now and then. I've said this in the past, I'll say it again, the developers need to pick who they want to balance the game for. Where that is the top 4%, everyone else can go fuck themselves. They're going to balance for those guys. That's fine, at least it's a decision. Or they need to balance for the vast majority in the middle, right? Not the complete shitlords down the bottom. Sorry if you're all the way down the bottom, but the game shouldn't be balanced around that because you're literally at the bottom. There's, you know, that would just make the game shit for everyone else, the vast majority and the pro players. If you balance around the vast majority in the middle, it'll make the game shit and too easy for the pro players, okay? And they'll probably leave, but then they'll get replaced by new pro players from the middle. But if you do it around the middle, that is the most people playing, all right? They're in that section, okay? We're talking from like the, say, bottom 15% all the way up to, like, you know, 80%, 90%, whatever. That's that core. If you can balance around 20% to 90% or something, then you have the chance of making the most people happy, and all those people pretty much play similar, okay? They're jumping in, they're throwing attacks they probably shouldn't, they're doing stuff to have fun, they're ledging people, they're, you know, just doing whatever the fuck they can, popping stuff at the wrong time, whatever, but they're enjoying themselves. They're not playing optimally, but they're also not playing completely shit. That's what I would do, that core, but the developers, they need to pick something. Because I've seen last time, this time, the time before, they keep saying that they want to try and balance it for every single person and try and make the characters designed in a way where everyone has to play it the same sort of way. But that just will never happen. In a perfect world, sure. But then we're just going to be playing a carbon copy of every single hero being pretty much the same thing. And that's going to get very boring. They need to pick a direction and they need to pick someone they're going to balance the game for, or we're going to keep getting stuff like this. In Dominion, Nabushi, Shinobi, S tier according to the pros. Yet, according to the overall data, which is the majority, okay, Nabushi is down the bottom, Shinobi is down the bottom, right? That's what I'm talking about, that divide right there. So, sure, you flip it over to the top 4%, Nabushi goes up, you know, to the upper tops, and Shinobi's in the middle. That's still completely off what they're saying in the pro players thing, because you remember the pro players like the top 1%, whatever. but they're saying that they're fucking mandatory, where according to even the 4% rating, the data that Ubisoft has, they're not mandatory. The mandatory ones would be Aramusha, Jiangjun, and Kensei, technically. Or Jiangjun, Aramusha. Yeah, basically those three, just in different orders on the list there. And they're going to keep getting that divide until they pick someone they want to go for. Do you balance for the majority? Do you balance for a minority? They're going to have to pick a direction, or we're just going to keep spinning our wheels for more years to come. But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around, it does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.